Hello, welcome to the Scott Paine YouTube channel. My name is Scott. Hold on. What's this stuff? I hate working on cars, man. Hate it. I don't like engineers. Next car I get cannot be any newer than 1970. Computers suck. We don't need all that crap. Right, this, normally I talk about guitars, sorry. Yeah. 2017 Gibson Les Paul Standard. Traditional spec. Blueberry burst. It still smells new also. Anyway, you still have all my push-pulls that I like, which, for some reason no one else does. Well, they do now that they're not in the guitars anymore. The pickups that are in that are now Seymour Duncans. I completely hated the Burstbuckers in there. They were the Burstbucker Lead Pro and Burstbucker Rhythm Pro Alnico 5 magnets. For what I do, I didn't like them. For the most part, they were pretty good with, the rock stuff, the straight rock. But they had a little bit of a honky sound to them. Didn't like that. At first, I just swapped out the bridge pickup and put another Seymour Duncan Alternative 8 in it. And volume-wise, it matched up with the neck and everything. But the neck still had too much honk. And I don't know, when I got older, I decided that I kind of liked the Alnico 2 magnets in the neck, so I stuck a Seymour Duncan pearly gates in the neck with that one. And then I got rid of the ones that came stock in it. But they were all circuit board stuff, so it was all the plug-in quick connect, which is awesome. It's easy to get in, get out, swap out pickups, no soldering, none of that junk. And like I said before in my other vids, you can, when you're not using the push-pulls for the coil taps or any of that stuff, then it bypasses all that and you're just using the CTS pots in there. So, it's like this straight up 50s wiring, the old school hand wired stuff. It just bypasses your circuitry. And the other thing, this one's got a blowout switch right here. This one, that bypasses all your tones and all that. It's just, you can have it on the neck pickup and then pull that out and it goes full on straight to the bridge pickup and to the jack, to the amp, and that's it. I don't really use it that much. I would have preferred that be replaced with a like 15 dB boost that's on my Classic, because when you do a coil tap, if you're going to use the coil tap, coil switch, you're going to lose volume. And I'd rather have it right there so I can have the volume back. Really, the only thing, I don't really use the taps on this one that much. It gives it the P90 sound, but I'm not a big fan of the tap sound. I'd rather it be a complete split, but then I definitely have to have the volume boost there. But I do like that one because that is the in and out of phase when you got it in the middle position. So you get the Peter Green type sound, even though it wasn't an out of phase sound with his, but it's still a really cool sound. And I use that more than I would have used it when I was younger. And in fact, on my 2015 Classic, I didn't have an option for that. So when I replaced my bridge pickup, I went ahead and it's wired in there, so when I automatically go into the middle position, that it's out of phase with itself, so that I have that tone there. Because I would use that more than just both pickups in phase together. And the other stuff going on. Now this is my second heaviest Gibson Les Paul. This one's got the ultra modern weight relief, which is the modern weight relief, and I think maybe they just made the routes a little bigger, took just a little bit more out around. So the Classic I have is the heaviest Gibson I have, and it's a 9-hole traditional weight relief, which just has the holes here. Now the ultra modern on this, if you don't know, you still got all this here. There's no cutouts there, so you're getting all that tone. It's just kind of like triangle things cut out around here. And obviously that's supposed to be lighter, but the classic weighs 10 pounds, 14 ounces. This clocks in at 10 pounds, 9 ounces. And then my 2017 traditional high performance that has non-weight relief clocks in at 10 pounds and 4 ounces. So that's the lightest one. And all that happiness. And shit, my battery's going to go out, and I'm not going to do a bunch more takes because I'm still just learning this. I'm not real great on this editing stuff just yet. So if it goes, it goes, and you're going to get this with no ending. Just in case, like I said, like, subscribe. I'm trying to get this started up, trying to have some cool stuff. I'll probably go off and do some crazy stories that I had. I know a lot of people want me to talk about my car wreck stories, how I went crazy and broke stuff and back and everything. Anyway, I'm just going through some of my guitar stuff now, and I'm going to get into some stories soon, because I'm a little goofier than this. Usually when I get around a couple of my close buddies and no one's around, we're freaking insane and sober. So when we get together, we just act weird and nuts, and people were like, you got to film that and just put it on YouTube, and it's going to be great. Still haven't came out of my shell yet, but that's because I got my kid running around somewhere, and the woman in there, for some reason, can play on stage and stuff, but I can't act goofy around them. Maybe the car wreck did screw something up. It did land on my head and crack my skull and everything. Maybe that's it. You think? Anyway, so, and Gibson, let's say thanks to Gibson, man, that the tornadoes and stuff that hit Tennessee, there's a lot of musicians down there, and all that, so the people that lost any of their guitars and stuff, Gibson's giving them, free guitars and everything. So that is awesome. I mean, it sucks that people lost their stuff, and if everybody's okay and gets all their stuff going, but that is a great thing for Gibson to do, giving those people their stuff so they can make their living, because a lot of the people there, that's what they're there for. They're musicians, and they're in Nashville for that. A lot of great musicians there. So thanks to Gibson for helping them out, and I'm sure there's going to be people just hating on that anyway. Why not? They can't give them what they want anyway, right? Like everybody get on about the weight relief stuff. They made Gibson's standards without weight relief this year, and now they're complaining that they're too heavy. I like the heavier guitars. That's the thing. When I'm bringing up the guitars that I have that are weight relieved and non-weight relieved, I'm bringing it up because I like heavier guitars, and I'm not doing this from a tone perspective. It's the feel to me. And yeah, I got a bad back. I got bolts and rods and titanium holding stuff together, and multiple surgeries for that. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a lighter guitar, but I did have I tried a couple other Gibsons that were lighter, like 217 high performance standard, and it was only like 7 pounds something, and I hated it. It felt like a toy. I mean, and I was like, okay, no, can't have that. Picked one up, it was around 8 pounds, same thing. I'm like, man, it's not happening. I went through a couple that were 9 pounds and something. I can deal with those, that's fine. But anything less than it's got to be just a hair over 9 pounds, or I probably won't want it. And that's a Les Paul guitar. I mean, I've got Schecter 7-string in there, Hellraiser C7, and it's it's mahogany. It's a neck through body, mahogany body with the arched quilted maple top and everything. And it's like about 8 pounds, but it doesn't feel like a toy. It feels solid. It's a smaller body. It's not a Les Paul and stuff. So if I pick up a Les Paul style guitar and it's super light, to me they just feel like toys. But you can tell a difference. I mean, you can pick up, like, say, a 5 pound, 6 pound Samick Les Paul, right? And then pick up an actual 7 pound Gibson Les Paul, And you can feel the difference. I mean, the Gibson's going to feel like it's made better. But to me, they both still feel kind of like toys. I'm not a big fan of the super light guitars. Now, the R9s and stuff, I know they're only like in the 8-pound range, but those things still feel massive, man. When you plug them in, it's insane. But that would be many years down the road, and if I win the friggin' lottery, then, you know, maybe I can afford to buy me an R9, you know, or go that route. But, you know, chances are people would be cussing me out because I most likely would at least be popping out the bridge pickup. I mean, it might, I'd play it, it might be great. It might sound awesome, might leave it, but I do like the hotter stuff, so I can see myself popping in some hotter Duncans or something in there. I might experiment with this one. I might swap the pickups out. I like the pickups that are in it now, but I really, really want to try the EMG 5766 combo. But my issue is I don't want to give up the out of phase switch. So until they have a setup that I can buy to put those in and have it in and out of phase, I'm not going to do that. At least not on any of my Gibson Les Pauls here. I got one coming that my buddy's getting me for Christmas, and he already said, "Yeah, man, this will be the one you can put those pickups in." It's a 2015 LPM, you know, and he picked it up at Guitar Center in Texas for really cheap, man. It's still got the G-Force on it and everything, which I'm a fan of that, so I'll keep it on there. The pickups aren't probably going to be for me. It's the 61s, but I'm going to try it first. I mean, it might work great with my rig. I'm, you know, running an EVH 5153. It's a 2x12 combo with a 4x12 extension cab. So, you know, that makes anything sound about metal. So I will probably, I'll definitely try them out first, and then if there is a guitar that I'm going to swap out the pickups and just throw the EMGs in there, would probably be that one. And I know they're finally getting that one ready to come out with a coil split, the EMG 5766. I know the 8185s have that now, but then the way they've got it set up, I'm not sure it's going to sound the same, because it's actually 3 coils. It's not just a humbucker that you split in half. It's got the humbucker in there, and then they put a third little coil in there that's a single coil, so I would assume that they've shrunk the humbucker enough to be able to fit that in there in the same size covering and everything. So I don't know if that'll sound any different than just a full-on 5766 or the 8185 humbucker as compared to the version that has the coil split available. So that's another thing to be testing out down the road. But like I said, the main thing I'm waiting for before I throw it into, you know, my standard or something like that is going to be being able to wire it up to have my in and out of phase. So I like the options of that and everything. Like I said, I really wish they would have, instead of had the blow switch on there, had the 15 dB boost, and I wish they would have had a push-pull for my classic for the boost instead of the toggle switch. Now the other thing I didn't go over with the traditional is where the blow switch is. Instead of that being a blow switch, when you pull that knob out on the bridge tone on the traditional, it switches which coils are on and off. When you've got a coil split or a coil tap, you can have either the inner coils on or the outer coils on. So that's very slight tonal difference. That one didn't make a big deal to me. You know, I'd still rather had a boost there since we're doing coil splits. That way you get your volume back instead of having to put another pedal on the pedal board. Because the way I am with stuff like that, if I buy an EQ pedal or a boost pedal just for stuff, my luck, I'll like the way it sounds when it's on, so it'll stay on all the time, which means when I go to coil split or coil tap, then I still lose my volume. But that's me, and I'm not going to grow out of that, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not growing out of this shit. I'm old enough now. I've already grown up as much as I'm growing up, and I'm done. Sorry, that was an old character coming out, man. Pretty soon, I'm sure you're going to meet the guy, the Great Wayamata Sushi. I'm telling you right now. He's a very powerful man in his country, and he can have you killed. And I hope that doesn't get kicked off YouTube. Sorry, he can have you yelled at. So, and when are people going to learn? Jesus, man. Get rid of the PC stuff, and here's the thing. I'm going to end it with this today. Life. Life isn't always ho-hos and leprechauns, okay? Just remember that, and everything will be fine. See you next time, and it will probably be a car wreck story or twitching.